So walk us through how a crypto wireless network actually works.
Yeah, so I think that really the easiest way to think about what Helium does is it empowers ordinary people, everyday people, to participate in the telecom business. Right, this is the most entrenched industry that's almost impossible for like a regular person to participate in. And what Helium has really pioneered is the ability for really everyday people to become part of the telecom business with this sort of decentralization and this crypto twist to it. So everyday participants buy a little piece of hardware called a hotspot. You can think of it as a miniature cell tower, and they earn HNT, which is the Helium token for providing network coverage that other people can use. That's sort of the simplest way to think about what it does.
What are some of your first use cases and customers?
Yeah, so there's been some interesting ones. I mean, the network today is focused on the Internet of Things, right, which is mostly sensors, small devices that are battery powered. And so we've seen everything from drone delivery, so packages being delivered by drones that are orchestrated through the Helium network, precision agriculture, things like wildfire monitoring, connected rat traps. You know, the number of use cases is extremely broad, and IoT as a category has been one that has really lacked a network that supports the kinds of applications that we're now seeing get built. So we're really starting to see like the transformation of an idea, which was IoT 10 years ago, to the reality, which is people and businesses starting to deploy sensors that solve real problems.
So is the goal here to take share from major wireless carriers, and how do you plan to do that?
I think the goal really is to try and build an alternative to what we have today, right? Like the internet, or access to the internet, has been something which has been so difficult to separate from a sort of small constituent of companies that sort of own access to the internet. It's incredibly difficult to decentralize that way due to like so many different modes, whether it's spectrum, whether it's physical access. And so what we've seen now is the sort of convergence of all these different technologies, including crypto, that makes it possible now for us to provide an alternative that is completely open, that is very private, that is very secure, and that is really owned by the people rather than a small group of companies that typically have a stranglehold in this industry.
Now, given your fundraising announcement today, $200 million, including from Tiger Global, we were just having a conversation earlier with Andrea Walney at Manhattan Venture Partners, who maintains that some of these bigger funds like Tiger Global are driving up valuations because they simply have so much money to plow into startups. What do you make of that critique, and do you think it applies at all to Nova?
I mean, if you look at the telecom industry, I mean, it is one of the few industries that is valued in the trillions of dollars, right? And so the opportunity here is so large that I think it is quite difficult to ascribe a valuation to it, right? So obviously I'm biased, and I'm not going to say that we're overvalued or anything like that, but I think the opportunity that we're looking at is so big and so unique, right? I think Helium is one of the few crypto projects that has a real, tangible, real world use case that everyone can understand, right? Like people get to participate and become basically a miniature cell tower, right? And so if you think about how that grows, today the network is focused mostly on IoT. But as you think of the expansion, there are now something like 20,000 5G hotspots being deployed, and we expect there to be other types of wireless network that get built on top of Helium too, whether that's Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 6G, or any other future technology.
Meantime, we are seeing companies more broadly slash their valuation, plan for layoffs. We're in the middle now of what seems to be a market downturn. How are you? Are you changing your strategy at all, or being more conservative with your cash as you navigate these macroeconomic conditions?
I think we've generally been the believers in small teams that can do big things. And, today we are 60 or so employees and looking to grow. But I think the philosophy of the company has always been that small teams can do lots of big things. And that has allowed us to be very flexible in different economic conditions, right? Like we aren't looking to add 2,000 employees and put ourselves in danger that way. So, I think there's a lot of pressure on startups to show growth in multiple directions. And one of those is headcount. And so we've always been careful about that. And I think that will serve us well going forward, because we built this culture of trying to be disruptive this way. And as a result of being able to use crypto economics, you really get to build an entire community behind you. So the size of the actual founding team or the core team matters a hell of a lot less, because you've got 600,000 plus hotspot hosts who are really the ones actually running the network, who own the network, and that's those are the numbers that matter rather than our individual headcounts.